Well, there you go. I haven't been live, for a long time. Sign into chat. Do I need to sign in? Open in your web browser. Okay. It says I'm logged in. I really don't know what I'm doing here, folks. I haven't been on here for a long time, but we'll see. If the chats start to come in, I know I'm live, and if the chats don't come in, I know I'm not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens as I turn off the speaker system. You know what I could do? I could actually check the YouTube channel. That's what I could do. Your channel, and see what. Yeah, I'm live. Yay! Woo! Okay, let's open this page instead. This will be easier for me. Good, excellent. Welcome to the Nippon Pulse channel. Formerly, I just renamed the channel just to make it more Japan focused as such. I don't think I'll be doing any new content on the channel at all. That wasn't my intention in renaming the channel. It's just good stuff and all weird and wonderful stuff, and I thought it is really, really messy. So by rebranding it with Nippon Pulse is literally just to upload again, or just to show again the Japan content that was originally on the channel, whether it be live streams or videos or whatever, and throw the other stuff away, apart from okay to have that on the channel down the bottom type thing, but everything else will be Japan content only, re-uploaded to the channel. So a lot of you in fact haven't seen a lot of the content that was out there, because it could be like really, really old, or when you did look at the channel it was really cluttered. So literally by doing this you get to see just the Japan stuff. So it's going to take ages to sort of upload playlists and all that sort of stuff, but we'll get there until I get bored, and then I won't do it anymore. How's a brain aneurysm though linked to Japan? Because again, here I am saying I'm rebranding the channel just to have Japan stuff, and here I am talking about my brain aneurysm. What I learned this week was Japanese people are more likely to get a brain aneurysm than other nationalities. There you go. So it works out that if you're not Japanese, you've got about a 3% chance in the world of getting a brain aneurysm. If you are Japanese, that increases to over 5%. So interesting. I'm not quite sure why the Japanese are more prone to getting aneurysms. In fact, the studies and the research I've done on aneurysms, they don't really have that much information on them at all. But I've got some updates about mine, and thought the weather's pretty crap out there. I thought I'll come on live and have a chat with you all and tell you what's happening, and some things that I've learnt on this process of having an aneurysm. So if you are joining us, feel free to come and say hello in the live chat. RMC Bride has just subscribed, apparently. Thank you very much. So if you are here, feel free to have a chat. Now, I have been dealing with a lot of, I don't like to say this about doctors and nurses, because just making it schmozzle, this sort of stuff, and I kind of believed that until I went through the process recently and realized that they are being paid plenty, and there is plenty of staff. There's loads of staff, but the incompetence is just through the roof now, absolutely through the roof, and it's got to come down to poor management, poor training, poor education, poor everything. And there's a thing that's changed in Australia where the medical staff now are really, really arrogant. Before, medical staff, whenever you went into hospital or anything, showed a lot of empathy and, were very kind people. What I've experienced in this process so far is reading off scripts, and it's been really disgraceful. And most of these people that I've had a bad experience with have been either Australian staff or UK staff, which it's been very racist for a long period of time. I would say the racism started before the COVID time, but when COVID hit, it just went off the Richter scale in just being extremely racist. And now they're cutting back immigration and making it very different. Get these amazing, overly trained, professional, Asian, Filipino staff, Korean staff. You can list a million other countries. We're not getting them at the moment. So the ones that I have had throughout this process have been amazing. Like just chalk and cheese, from the English and Australian staff to the international staff. It's worlds apart, I've got to say. Super is here. Hello, Super. Long time no see. How have you been? What have you been up to? Please talk. So, even when I was in hospital, people were commenting. G'day, Ivan. Australian patients were complaining, really racist, going, I don't want to be seen by a bloody immigrant. It's like, what are you on about? These people are the best of the best of the best. Let me, Sam's here as well. Let me get Bella. Oh my God, there's my Bella. Hey, Belle. Hey. Ah. So I found it really disheartening that the medical system in Australia has gone to this state that used to be very, very good. G'day, Russell. And has turned really, really bad and really, really racist. And I had a huge argument with... I've changed hospitals now, which I think some of you know, where my a very big go at them because they just don't listen. And the whole process, they never, ever, ever listened. Right up until I had an appointment with them last week. And I went in there and they told me answers, and the answers were just not what I was saying. And I kept, and then when they rang me up this end of last week for the review of when I went in for the appointment, they said the same thing again. And I said, I haven't said any of this information to you whatsoever. You simply just don't listen. And they go, oh, yeah, we do listen. And basically the Australian staff now, sorry if I'm sounding really confusing with this, it's really hard to explain. The Australian staff now literally walk out of university and they read from a textbook. And no matter what answer you give them, they're going to keep going back to this particular answer that they've been taught, and they will not listen otherwise. It is just appalling. And medical staff never used to be like that. In the past, I've had cancer and eye problems and all sorts of stuff. And I've been able to go into doctors in the past in Australia and just say, this is how I feel, this is what's happening. And they've trusted me, they've listened to me, and they found the problem straight away, and they fixed the problem. This has been a real mission. You just rewatched Back to the Future. Very good, thank you. So anyway, I saw the neurosurgeon this week at a different hospital, and he is just exceptionally good. I mean, this guy is more professional than anyone I've ever experienced in my life, and he knows what he's talking about. He even... When I mentioned about the hospital I was originally going to, he even had a little chuckle and said, yes, we know about this hospital. So much so that this hospital, the incompetent hospital that I was going to, they misdiagnosed the size of the friggin' aneurysm by half. Right? Not by a millimeter, which was very dangerous, especially in the location, is now like... beyond, like, oh my God, how is he managing to stay alive type situation. Like, it's huge. It's massive. So he said to me, he goes, look, if you refuse surgery, we can't actually let you leave the hospital. And we'd have to call in counsellors and all this sort of stuff because it is just so huge, and the location which it's at, we can't legally let you leave unless you agree to the operation, which I was going to anyway. There was no way in my mind I was going to disagree with the operation. That's what I was there for. But neurosurgeon, that's saying the effects of the aneurysm has really been impacting my life. So obviously it's been growing for a long period of time and getting worse and worse and worse. So much so that it's been affecting my eyesight. And he made it very clear my vision problems is actually caused by the aneurysm. So when the aneurysm goes, it's going to be interesting to see what I can see. So that'll be interesting. The other thing is I've been getting anger issues, which I think a lot of you know, for a long period of time. Well, I can now blame it on the aneurysm. I can blame it entirely on the aneurysm. The aneurysm has been giving me anger and mood swings and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And simply through no choice of my own, I get angry and I sort of think it's like normal, but apparently it's not normal. But I can't control it because it's pushing on the nerves in the brain, in that particular part of the brain. And because the aneurysm is so big, it's causing a lot of brain injury and trauma and damage and all sorts of stuff going on there at the moment. So, again, once it goes, it's going to be interesting to see how my mood changes or how I act differently with it being gone. This happened at a dentist you went to in Melbourne City Hospital. And again, I always say to people, you need to understand what your body's telling you. And I've always been kind of good with that. I did leave this go for a long period of time. Well, I didn't actually leave it go for a long period of time. I was trusting a doctor that was incompetently bad at the Fulham Street Medical Centre in Perth, Australia, who was diagnosing me with sinus. And it wasn't sinus, it was a frigging brain aneurysm. But I trusted this doctor for a long period of time, and my body was telling me other things, and I couldn't understand it. I wasn't getting any better, I was getting worse. And when I went to hospital the first time, I realised that something was wrong, past sinus. It was something really bad. And the hospital didn't want to do anything. So, if I didn't listen to my body, as a lot of you don't, I would have walked away, kept treating myself for sinus. This thing would explode and I'd be dead. And I can say that because the size of this aneurysm, the neurosurgeon has made it very clear to me. He said, if it bursts before we operate on it, you will be dead. There is no survival rate for your aneurysm because it's just too big and in the location it's in. He said even if it bursts and it gives you a stroke, the stroke is going to be so bad from the size of the aneurysm, you're basically going to be dead. So, yeah. G'day, Ben's here as well. Hey, Ben. The hospital you go to is pretty good. Let me have a thing of coffee. So anyway, if you heard this story before, you don't have to listen to it. But if you haven't, I went into the hospital feeling very sick. Well, I'd say very sick, like I just had pressure, not a headache, I had pressure, I just felt really nauseous. I had the symptoms of what the other doctor was saying was sinus, but worse. So the hospital, again, were not listening to me. The staff were not listening to me whatsoever. And they just did blood tests. This was at the emergency department after several hours. And they go, your blood test is fine, there's nothing wrong with you. Just go home and take a Panadol. You're basically wasting our time. And I said, no, there is something wrong with me, and you are going to have to do more tests because I don't accept everything's fine. My body is telling me things are not fine here. My head feels like it's a balloon and it's going to explode. No, you're fine. Just go home. So I refused. They said they would kick me out. I said, you can try your hardest to kick me out, but as a public patient, you can't legally, laws and all sorts of stuff. And I'm not talking ChatGPT. Nobody should use ChatGPT. We can go into that a little bit later on. And I said to them, look, as a public patient, you just simply can't kick me out. You can call the police, you can call security, you can do whatever you like. There is no way on this God-given earth am I leaving this emergency department until I get a CT scan with dye. The dye test with the CT scan. And they refused. They really refused, and they got really nasty about it. And I demanded to see the doctor in charge of the emergency department. She finally came in, and she was just really rude. She pulled up a chair and she just started lecturing me, how dare you, we're doctors and you've come in here and you're demanding things. You can't demand these things. We've done a blood test and there's nothing wrong with you and you should just go home and stop wasting people's time. And I said, no, I'm not going until I get a CT scan with dye. And eventually, she huffed out of the room. Eventually, she came back with resources and time and and it's people like you that shouldn't be in the hospital. We've got better people to see. And I said, oh, yeah, whatever, you can do that, after you've given me the CT scan with the dye. And she said, no, we're just giving you a normal CT scan. And I said, no, I'm not going for the CT scan unless it's a CT scan with the dye. Because you need the dye to show the blood veins and everything that's going on properly. I learned that when I had my leg done originally with the tumour. So she relented in the end because she realised I wasn't going till I come back and, tell you how you've wasted our time. Anyway, I never saw her again. Never saw her again because, of course, the CT scan with the dye, instantaneously, CT scans take like 2 minutes to do. They're pretty quick. Instantaneously showed that I had an aneurysm. However, they never told me that night whatsoever. And that's what I couldn't figure it out. And I'm thinking, there must be something wrong. It came in. And he said to me, oh, yeah, we got your CT scan. Bit of a problem. We found an aneurysm. And I got pretty much no information from the hospital or the doctors or anything about aneurysms. I had heard them before. I heard people die from these things instantaneously. So I was kind of freaking out and I was very, very upset about it. Feel free to talk, Bob. So I had to stay in there while they had to give me lumbar punctures and all this sort of stuff, and they made a mess with the lumbar punctures. If you've been following the channel, you would know this story already. But 2 doctors came away, and they were putting the needle in my spine in different places and just making a real mess of it and shaking it around. Again, these were Australian staff. And then after it, they go, oh, well, we'll just have to do it again tomorrow under a CT scan. It's orderly, unqualified in Australia, but very qualified in his country, saw and heard what was going on. And he went and spoke to the doctor without me knowing. And he came back and he said, look, I've spoke to the doctor to try to give you the lumbar puncture. And the doctor really doesn't know what he's doing. This is my profession overseas. I'm an anaesthetist overseas. But the Australian government won't recognise my doctors and nurses and that, and they're not allowed to work here because the Australian government's made it so difficult for them and said, we don't accept your qualifications, we're Australians. And the unions carrying on as well. And he said, look, it's completely up to you. The doctor said he doesn't care. Will you allow me to do the lumbar puncture? He said, if you do, I promise you I'll be able to do it the first time. It'll be done in literally a couple of minutes, and you will have zero pain. And my sister and I were both there, and we just said, yep, go for it. And he said, look, I must tell you, I'm not qualified in Australia to do this, so theoretically I shouldn't be doing this. He said, I just want to do it because you've gone through things with your lumbar puncture that you shouldn't have gone through, and if they try and do it again tomorrow, they're just going to make a mess of it and they can damage your spine. So I said, yeah, do it. So he did the lumbar puncture perfectly, first time, no pain. He was amazing. And again, this just highlights how incompetent Australian and English staff are in Australian hospitals compared to these very, very well-trained overseas staff members that we're just simply not allowing to work here at the moment. The hospital you were going to sounds like they need improvements. They need to be knocked down. I even sent a letter to the CEO of that particular hospital, and he never read my letter whatsoever. He sent me back the stock standard, we don't give a flying reply. So he was just an idiot. So anyway, I had the lumbar puncture, wasn't bleeding. They sent me home. I didn't want to go home because, again, I'd given no information. I was really upset. I just thought it was going to explode and I would die. And that night, I asked the nurse on duty, because I was still in the emergency department, spent 2 or 3 days in the emergency department. I said to the nurse, can I see my medical report, please, so I know about the aneurysm? And she refused, which they're not allowed to do. They're not allowed to refuse. And I said, oh, well, can I speak to your boss? And she refused that as well. AI, the version of AI I use, said, you've got to throw this at her, minister, and your rights. And so I did, and she lectured me, and she goes, who's ever heard of this woman before? Who the hell is that? And I said, well, that's your boss, that's a minister. And she goes, I don't know who the F she is. And yeah. Anyway, this nurse came back on the hour every hour, all night, for 12 hours, 13 hours. And she'd wake me up every hour and say to me, do you know what's going to happen? Your aneurysm's going to cause you a really bad headache. It's going to be so painful, and then it's going to go bang, and you're going to die. You're just going to die. And she kept doing this, so I was really, really upset about that, thinking that it was just going to go bang, and I would die. Hospitals in Melbourne are terrible. Can't even get into one because of ambulance ramping. And again, I believed this ambulance ramping does happen. That's where they keep you in the ambulance if you don't know overseas. And I thought it was because these hospitals were understaffed and that. No, they're just full of lazy, incompetent Australian staff, and under unions and the government we have, which is part of a union and all this stuff at the moment, they don't have to work. And they're not accountable to anybody, and they don't give a flying a lot of them need sacking. They really do. There is plenty of staff there. There were plenty of beds. There were empty beds in the emergency department when I was there. The staff were just so lazy but she won't, unfortunately. Even robots could do better. Well, again, all these overseas stuff that I saw when I was in hospital were all brilliant. I can't complain about a single one of them. They were brilliant, but they're not allowed to play here. They're not allowed to get a job because we're racist, and we don't allow them in now. We don't accept. I did report them. In fact, I might at some point on the website, which is nipponpulse.org. If you haven't gone there before, check it out, nipponpulse.org. I might actually even post the letter that I sent them on there, and you will be amazed with the letter, he says. So anyway, eventually, again, these two Asian doctors came in with a little computer. And they said, hello, we hear that you don't want to go home and you're a bit scared, and let's walk you through this. And so they were really helpful, and they got my brain in a calmer state where I managed to get to come home. It was classed as urgent then when they sent me home, and they said it can go bang at any time, but we've got you marked down as urgent for urgent intervention, which is kind of what's happened. So, cutting a long story, so now I'm extremely freaked out because it's bigger than dangerous size. It's like how this thing hasn't popped, God only knows. So I'm going into hospital to have it operated on the 4th of June. That's the earliest they can get me in for a number of reasons. They've got to put me on medication to try stabilise me and my blood pressure. Luckily, my blood pressure is pretty good. But they have to try stabilise me as best they can before the operation, which takes, unfortunately, a period of time on medication. And then if I make it to the operating theatre, if it doesn't pop between now and then, it should be an easy process. Things can go wrong in the operation, of course, and you can anyway, at some point, because it will pop. The size it is, it will pop. You had a doctor once at the Children's Hospital. She didn't like kids. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Hey, was she interesting? Was she Australian, Sam? So, all these things that I've lived with for a long period of time in life, I've put down to just my normal health. My eyesight, for example, the pressure behind my eye. I've put it down to just my eyes. But now I know that pressure that I'm feeling behind the eyes, pushing on the eyes, is the aneurysm. I know the blurriness or the double vision or the eye that's looking over one direction is all the aneurysm. My mood swings is the aneurysm. The anger is the aneurysm. My poor housemate at the moment, he's been getting it 20-fold. And this is the aneurysm growing recently and causing a lot of problems recently. I'm in pain 24/7. The pain is not stopping at all. So he's unfortunately got the brunt of it all at the moment. His family came for a holiday for 3 days. They were just going to stay here. They came from Japan, and last minute, for no reason at all, not through my logic, but that's what this is doing. It's literally making me uncontrollable. It's my body and thought process is pretty uncontrollable at the moment. Mum's all right. Mum's getting there. Angryism. Yes, it's angryism. Yeah, Aussie staff, Sam says as well. Yeah, angryism. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm doing as much as I still can, but fully aware of, like, for example, when I drive my car now, I'm fully aware that if somebody prangs into my car, my aneurysm can burst. I'm fully aware that if I get angry at the dickhead that's driving in front of me, my aneurysm can burst, because anything that raises your blood pressure makes your aneurysm potentially ready to burst, especially, again, the size of my aneurysm. I have put a call out to the specialist to try get a copy of the photos of my aneurysm to show you. At some point he'll send me them, so when he does, I'll show you it, and it's frigging huge. So catch 22. I gotta kind of like work to earn the money to pay for life, but I also don't want to either. Like, I've been freaking out going to the shops, for example, just because of the amount of people at the shops, knowing that, you know, if somebody bangs into me or I trip or whatever, it could potentially be all over Red Rover. So, so life has changed over the past few weeks with all of this. Now, when and again, feel free to talk. It doesn't need to be about this. It can be about anything. If you don't talk, I'm not going to hang around. So when they operate on me, if all goes well, and we hope it'll all go well, or I hope it'll go well, it'll be an instant fix, which I was quite surprised about. I said to him, when can I go overseas again? When can I do stuff? Whatever. And he said, the second you come out of hospital. I said, what do you mean the second I come out of hospital? He said, yeah, the pressure's taken off the brain. As soon as we take that pressure off the brain and stop that aneurysm from being able to explode, you're good to go. Your brain's going to recover, and you can just do whatever you want to do. And I said, well, isn't there a thing that, that something could go wrong? And he said, nope. I'm pretty scared, Super, I've got to say. Pretty scared. Did they say what caused it? No. That's the thing. Aneurysms, they can never, even all the papers and that, you never know why you have an aneurysm. There's no answer to this. There's guesses on why people get aneurysms, but yeah, they just don't know. But the point of this stream, I suppose, is you have to know your body. If you don't know your body, you have to start listening to your body, and you have to start getting checked, because if I listened to them and just went back with the blood test, this thing would have exploded at some point. May not have been this year, may not have been next year, maybe the year after, I don't know. And the fact is, once it exploded, I'd be dead. So always listen to your body. I've told my brothers and sisters to get scanned as well for an aneurysm, even though it's not proven. Again, they don't know why aneurysms are caused. They're saying, there might be a link with hereditary stuff. They don't know. But I was also 4 months prem-born, the earliest prem-born baby to... You notice how I'm also having trouble with words now and again? Putting sentences together. That's because of pressure. I was the earliest prem-born baby at the time in the world. And because of it, they put me in pure oxygen. And by putting me in pure oxygen, it affected the right-hand side of my body. Not the left-hand side, just the right-hand side of my body. So I've had tumours and cysts and all sorts of stuff all happen on the right-hand side of the body. So when they said that I had the aneurysm, I automatically said, well, it's on the right-hand side of the body. Logically. It wasn't. It was on the left-hand side of the body. So I said to the neurosurgeon the other day, I said, isn't it funny? Everything's been on the right, but the aneurysm is on the left. So I've broken the trend. And he said, you haven't broken the trend whatsoever. He said, this is interesting. There's a connection to all of this. And I said, but why? Because it's on the right-hand side of the brain. And he said, yes, but what does the right-hand side of the brain do? It operates the left-hand side of the body. So the left-hand side of your brain operates the right-hand side of your body, and the right-hand side of the brain operates the left-hand side of your body. So even though this aneurysm's on the right-hand side, it's affecting the left-hand side. So that's interesting. When something feels different, get a checkup. That's exactly right, Sam. And because Sam goes through medical challenges and that as well. And when something doesn't feel right, it doesn't need to be pain. It doesn't need to be swelling. It doesn't need to be anything you can see or feel, as in, pain or sensation. It's literally just something that's niggling in your brain or in your thoughts, where you're going, I don't know, just something just doesn't seem right. And that's the feelings I get. Something just doesn't seem right. Like when the tumor was found in my right femur, I just said to them, I don't know, there's just something not right. I'm not in pain. I don't really have any symptoms. It's just I've just got a feeling something's not right. And you should get checked if you have these feelings, because you never know. You can't have gas because it may decay your muscles. Interesting. Well, I think I'm going to be awake during my operation. And here's a quiz, everybody. Here's a quiz. I don't know how many people are watching us, but how many people are watching us? Whoever's watching us, I want everybody to answer this question. Everybody. Participation time. Okay, so the aneurysm is on the left-hand side of my brain here, just past my temple. Where are they going to be operating? So where are they going to be going into my body for my aneurysm, to operate on my aneurysm? Okay, so the aneurysm is on the left-hand side, just behind my temple, pushing on my visual cortex and all that sort of crap. Where are they going to operate? So where are they going to be making the incision, you could say, going into the aneurysm? Where? How long would the surgery take? Many hours. Yes, he already told me many hours. On the right side, Super says. Okay, we'll lock that in. Anybody else want to have a guess? So Super says they're going to operate on the right side to get to the left. Could be logical because the left side operates the right, vice versa. Penis or arm, Russell says. Interesting. They'd need a very long needle if they went through my penis. Penis or arm, very good. Anyone else want to have a guess? Anyone else want to have a guess? Come on, give it a go. Probably right-hand side too. The right-hand side, Ben says. The right-hand side, okay. 20 more seconds. Last chance for you to have a go. 29. They are going to... Nobody else going to guess? 3, 2, 1. Russell was the closest with penis or arm. Your nose, Sam says. Now, I would have thought my nose too, Sam. Very good. Well, they're not going through my penis, and they're not going... Well, they are going through my arm, but they're going through my arm through my finger. They're going to operate through my finger, believe it or not. Brain, and then into the aneurysm through your finger. And by doing that, I get to stay awake. Not very happy about that one. They'll give me, anesthetic and all that. But by doing that, they're not putting air into the skull. In the old days, they would cut your skull open and operate. The operation was easy, but the problem was after the operation, you had air, a pocket full of air in your head. And that could cause all sorts of problems, which means it was a very long recovery. You could get infections, all sorts of stuff. You could have strokes, the whole works. So by going through the finger, they don't introduce any air into the brain, which means once they operate, if it's successful, it's successful pretty much instantaneous. They only keep you in hospital. So that's interesting. Might turn into an ET finger. I thought exactly the same thing, Sam. But they're going to, because my aneurysm is too big, they're going to do a artery bypass, which amazes me even more. So not only are they going through my finger, but they're putting a fake artery through my finger as well and take it up to my brain, and then somehow getting all the tools they need through the finger as well, which is going to attach the artery, the fake artery, and bypass it and cut all the other one. And you sort of go, how small are these tools they use? These saws and cuts and needles, and it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. So yeah, interesting. I don't really want to be awake. I know I'll be extremely numb, and they'll most probably have a curtain up so I can't see, but I really don't want to be hearing anything that's going on. This might change, of course, between now and the operation. They might just say, no, put the guy to sleep. Because it's pretty big, he says. So yeah, that'll be interesting. The only other thing they said is, of course, I can't drive. Once I come out of hospital, I'll be on medication for a month afterwards. But apart from the medication, he says, I'll be able to get back to things pretty much instantaneous. I don't think you can, because at the end of the day, we're talking about an aneurysm which is larger than a large aneurysm. So my aneurysm is like extreme. And even during the operation, until they bypass it, there is a chance that it could pop. It may not be a very nice thing to live stream, he says, at all. Before, whether it be the tumour on my right femur or losing my hip or many, many other things. And I've never really worried about these other things because there was always time. Meaning, even if they were unsuccessful in the surgery, you weren't going to drop dead there and then, right? You would still have time to do whatever you needed to do. With the aneurysm, it's freaked me out because there literally is no time. Even when I'm sitting with you now, it's like, is this the last second of my life? Is this the last second of my life? Is this the last second of my life? Because if it goes bang, and the size of the aneurysm I have, if it goes bang, it's game over. So yeah, it's the scariest I've ever been. Grab hold of me. In fact, that's something that hasn't happened as well, in my life, even with my other medical conditions. We've had friends and that, but it's sort of like, oh yeah, I'm sick. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry about that, but they don't really think about you, and you know what I mean? It's just life, because they're busy. But anyway, I've had a couple of really good friends that have been so involved in this, that have really, really taken their time. For example, Victor, my old housemate, Sam knows Victor. He's back in Korea now, and he's really, really busy. He's studying and working and doing all sorts of stuff. He pretty much rings me every day on video call as well, talking to us. Victor is very religious. He says to me, can I say a prayer for you and all this sort of stuff? And yeah, and he's been like a real rock. He has been amazing, Victor has. He's taken time out of his studies and everything to literally contact me every single day. Every morning I wake up, I got a message from him. How am I feeling? I'm with you. Hang in there. You're going to be fine. Just all these motivational things. Very, very good. I've had a few other people do that as well. And I've never been an emotional person whatsoever. Ever. Never emotional. But these couple of people have really, really touched me. I've been in like so much tears over the past few weeks. Even my friend in Brazil, Cleverson, he's been calling me. He's studying to be a doctor at the moment, in fact. And he's been sort of comforting me as well, and that's quite amazing. But Victor is so amazing. As soon as this is all over, I'm going to do something I've never done before, and that's I'm going to Korea. Any chance I can operate sooner? No. Unfortunately not, because I have to be on medication prior to the operation to stabilize it so they can operate. If they operated without stabilizing it, it would just be a disaster. So unfortunately, because it's so big and so dangerous, and they have to stabilize it. So this is the quickest I can get in there. I don't want to like Ivan. I want it gone yesterday. I want it gone last month. Like when it was smaller, I wanted it gone instantaneously. Now it's double the size. It's just like freaking me out, and I feel it double the size now as well. For example, and it's not just my brain sort of freaking out and going, oh my God, you can feel it, it's this big, when it's not. I can actually feel it now. I can feel the size of it pushing on my eye, which I've always had that pressure, but I've never related it to a size of a thing that's in my head. But now when I feel it, I go, oh my God, I feel that pressure being the size of that aneurysm, if that makes sense. Victor's been just amazing, Sam. Absolutely amazing. So, he's been very, very good. So when I am through this, I will be going to Japan, but I'll be going to Japan via Korea, which would be nice, and I'll be spending just a couple of days with Victor. And because it won't be a long trip. I don't have the money for a long trip. And I'll be catching the JR ferry, Japan Rail ferry, from Korea to Japan. And I got to say, that ferry, oh my God, check out the rooms on that ferry, everybody. Oh my God. I've said if I make it through the operation, and if I save money, because I have no money at the moment, thanks to this, I need to really treat myself somehow. So what I want to do when I leave Korea and go over to Japan on the JR ferry, there's a lot of accommodation you can do. You can do like sit-ups, you can do capsules, you can do budget bedrooms, whatever. They have a deluxe room on this ferry, which is $200, 200 Australian dollars, for a day and a half. And this deluxe room is huge. Oh my God, it's got your own personal lounge room in it with television and that, and your own personal bathroom and kitchen and all that sort of stuff. So that's $200. And I thought, that's going to be my treat. That's what I want to do. I want to go to Korea, see my friend, and then, because I go budget, but for my special little treat for surviving, I want to save up, and go on the $200 deluxe room ferry from Korea to Japan. I think that'd be great. But we'll see how that goes, because I can do some work at the moment, and I can't do a lot because I can't really get too stressed at the moment. So I'm only doing a little bit. Like today, I didn't do anything at all. I woke up this morning and I just felt a bit agitated, a bit. So I just decided to, for the first time since all of this has happened, I just decided to stay home in bed. I thought I'm not going to move from bed at all, so I didn't. I suppose that's why I've come on here now, because I'd done absolutely nothing today at all. Did tell him over a number of times, so I think they do know. I've said, look, the aneurysm is making me snap and be angry and do very, very irrational things. And it's making me do really, really irrational things. And I said, I'm really sorry, but I can't control it, because I can't. That's the point. I can't control it at the moment. So I'm pretty much sure he really, really hates me at the moment. And he's really upset. Like today I saw him and he's like really, really upset. Last weekend was really important to him, and I kind of, pardon the language, fucked it up for him. His family coming from Japan and all this sort of stuff. And before he went to work today, he gave me a gift. Nasty and all. And he looked really upset, but he still gave me the gift, if that makes sense. So I said to him as he was leaving for work, I said, look, I am really sorry. I can't do much about it because of the way this is making me act at the moment. I just, after I have my operation, I just hope to be better and make it up to you. And he said as he was leaving, he said that, he hopes after my operation I'm a different person. So I do notice there is a lot of problems going on with the brain at the moment. Lots of problems going on with the brain. Speaking of that, I just got a message. I got a new phone, by the way. Did I tell you? I think I did. Oh my God, what's it beeping? So, I got the best phone, oh my God, in like history. Let's talk tech. I got the Nothing phone. You can't even see the picture on it, unfortunately, the Nothing phone. Look at this. Let me find the settings. Now, the thing with the Nothing phone as well is all the icons are black and white, and it's designed to actually get you off the phone. Oh my God. You recently went to Singapore. Oh, tell me about it, Ben. Where'd you go? What'd you do? I love Singapore. So the Nothing phone is designed to take you off the phone, because you know how we're like this? So after you've been to an app, because you see this, you're not like, you don't really want to go into another app. It's true. It's fantastic. Anyway, the way this works is, if I can find out how to do it, utilities. You're supposed to have your phone down on the table, right? And the phone has a bunch of lights on the back here, and it actually tells you what's going on. So in other words, an important email's come in, or, somebody's important trying to contact you. If it's not important, it's not going to give you a warning. It's not going to give you a notice. So I hope I'm explaining this right. So basically, the lights will light up depending on what the phone is trying to tell you. So to give you an idea of the light, sorry, I'm just going to play a ringtone, but keep an eye here. Let's what one we do, this one. Tells you, for example, Ben's needs to get in contact with me urgently. There's an urgent message, and it will light up, and then I'll be able to look, which is fantastic. But there's a couple of good things about Nothing phones. You went to the soccer tournament. Was that the soccer over the water? In Marina Bay, yeah. So that was a soccer pitch that's on the water, and that water is their drinking water. They actually... Marina Bay Sands is all reclaimed land. They made this land. It's freaking amazing. And they blocked off the ocean, and they now filter the ocean water to make it clean water. So all in their bay and in their river system is clean drinking water, and the soccer pitch is in the water. Oh my God, it's amazing. Just getting there was rough. What, to Singapore or to the soccer field? Is very, very much AI, and it has its own very unique button on here called the Essential Key. And the Essential Key allows it to pretty much control your life. So, for example, everything to do with my medical stuff at the moment, whether it be through my Nothing smartwatch, which I got, or whether it be through my private blood pressure machines, or doctor's reports or whatever, the phone automatically gathers all this information, right? So even the emails from the doctors, it'll gather the information. It puts it in the essential folder. It figures it all out. It sorts out all my appointments. I don't need to do anything. It does it all itself. It works out my health condition and my readings, and it analyzes it, and it breaks it down, and it's just amazing. I know I haven't explained this very well, but hey, I've got an aneurysm in my head. The cost it costs them to make this at the moment, they're not making any money on it. And that's fact. Their documentation is out there at the moment. Because they're a new player in the market, they have to compete with like Apple and Samsung and that to survive. So as an example, the latest Apple iPhone was, I think they said, $580 or something to make for Apple. And then Apple sells it for $1,600, $1,700, right? This phone costs the same price to make as the latest Apple phone, and they sell it for the cost that it costs to make this phone. And this phone has better features and better quality and better everything than what an Apple phone has at the moment. They were talking about these phones on the radio the other day, in fact, and they're just amazed. The tech guys and that are just amazed by the technology in this startup company. So the price will eventually go up once they get their foothold in. But at the moment, they're really, really cheap. The build quality is just exceptional. The power is just off the Richter scale. And they've already been touted by all the professionals, I was reading in the papers and that today, as having the phone of the year. And we're just at the beginning of the year now. So there's all these other phones due to come out, Samsungs and everything, and all the tech people have said nothing will be able to surpass this. Impossible. So they've already said that the Nothing phone is going to be phone of the year. Are you not good with flying, Ben, on long flights? Our flights got cancelled heading up Jetstar, of course. Why would you fly Jetstar? And then we got bumped to flights on Tuesday for 5 hours layover. Yeah, never go Jetstar. Ever, 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 ever. For Apple, yeah, and the CEO used to work for another phone company as well. And it's like they really listen to their customers, which they do, and their features are just the space for apps and everything. This has zero bloatware on it. It's just extraordinary. Seriously, I buy a lot of tech, and usually when I buy it, I'm really disappointed when I get it. It's never as you would expect it to be. This Nothing phone, like, seriously, the price I paid for it and what I can do with this phone and how this phone acts, it's just above and beyond anything that this price would suggest. And then their ecosystem, their watch is just extraordinary. But let me just grab something else. Sorry, you're just going to have a look here while I run and get it. But their open ear headphones have been classed as the best in the world. Not from me. They have actually been classed as the best in the world. Even people like Apple and that have said we cannot make anything like this, especially hear everything around you. It just sits on the outside of your ear. So your ear hole is still open so people can, so you can hear everything. You can wear these 24/7. There is zero weight to these. But here's the amazing thing. The sound, I have never heard sound through a set of headphones as I have through these. The sound is amazing. So lots of bass. It just sounds like literally you are wearing a set of headphones that are going in the ears, but they're not. So the technology is quite amazing. But here's the interesting thing, and they're really loud. These have noise cancelling technology on them, but not for me, because that would defeat the purpose. The idea is open ear so I can hear. This has noise cancelling technology for anybody around you. Be able to hear it. No. The noise cancelling technology in this stops the other people from hearing you. And how beautiful are these? Everything with nothing is see-through. Even the phone. You can't see the phone on the camera, but even the phone is see-through. Let me try take off the case. You couldn't get me on Jetstar. No, same. Nothing compares to how Tiger Air... Oh, Tiger Air was crap. I don't know if you could see... Oh, you can sort of see... you can sort of see it there. See, it's like see-through. Oh, my God. They have a blue one, but it had sold out. The blue one's extraordinary. So, nothing. I am just blown away with the technology of nothing. It is the best of the best of the best at the best price as well. But it won't be the best price for long, because as soon as they have market share, their prices are going to go up. And the CEO said that as well. He said, as soon as we're selling enough stock, the price will go up. How much is the Nothing phone? The Nothing phones, I can tell you. Let me bring up the website, Mad Hatter. So when I bought mine, I contacted JB Hi-Fi. I said, give me a better price, and they did. And then I joined their online thing, and I got an extra slow at the moment. I'll bring up the exact prices as they are today for you. Maybe if I close half of these tabs. Nothing. Here we go. So the Nothing phone... the Nothing Phone 3A, which is their latest phone, without any discount, is $599, so $600. I managed to get this for $520 from JB Hi-Fi, because I told them to give me a better price. $520, and I joined online, and I got it for $510. Now remember, this is the equivalent of the latest iPhone. In fact, this is better than the latest iPhone, which is also a brand new phone by them. And this is pretty cool, because their CMF phone, you can actually take off like the case and add different, not their case, like the body of the phone, and add different colors and accessories. That's $449 before discount. So you'd be able to get that for about $400. The blue one's exceptional though. These headphones were $249. I got these, cost me $100. That's what that cost. So by getting the complete set, the phone, the headphones, and the watch, it was still cheaper than the iPhone, and it's more powerful than the iPhone. And when you feel this, it's just quality. Oh my God. When I had the Pixel, it just felt crap. This is such good quality. Oh my God. The good thing about the cheaper phone, which I just mentioned to you, the CMF phone, if you dropped it and smashed your phone, you just unscrew it and put on a new back. I'm not talking about the case, I'm talking about the actual phone. You just take off the bit that's broken and literally put on a new piece. Amazing. Check them out. There's lots of videos online about Nothing. Check them out. And they even say the faults with the company. They're like a very, very open company, you know. There's nothing hidden from them. Best thing I've ever bought. Seriously, best thing. Best thing. I think I've covered all my aneurysm thing. There are earlier versions of the Nothing phone which you can get cheaper, of course. The Nothing phone 2A you can get for about $480 at the moment. What else is there? Yeah, so roughly, let's say for the latest bit of tech, say around the $500 mark, and you will be getting the latest and greatest piece of technology out there. Phone. You can expand the storage in that on other phones, but not up to 2 terabytes. Funny how a guy who stopped a teen at Avalon got free flights from Avalon, but it only goes to Sydney on Jetstar. Oh my God, really? That's a bit weird. Not, if people don't talk, I will go. I've told you all about the aneurysm thing now. So we just wait till the 4th of June for that. Yeah. It's quite strange now that I have the new phone. I want to live stream out and about, but I said I don't want to do YouTube anymore. So what do I do? This is, as I say, the essential key is so good. Oh yeah, the features one day with it maybe, but this does not use ChatGPT. You shouldn't use ChatGPT for AI, because ChatGPT is actually gives you the answers that it thinks you want through advertising space in which it's sold. So the answers that ChatGPT give you is actually factually not true. So you should avoid ChatGPT and use stuff like Grok, for example, because Grok is completely independent and gives you the real and exact answers. Looking forward to the Victorian State Budget tomorrow night. What will they waste money on this time? Oh my God, I tell you, this country's a mess. This with nothing. Anyone else want to say anything? I can't really comment on the state budget of Victoria because I don't live in Victoria now, but I picture it going to be bad. It always is. The website, there is some update. Let's talk about the website. Have you gone to our website yet? nipponpulse.org, not com, org, O-R-G. NIPPONPULSE.org. Do check that out, because there's posts on there on the Pulse board that you don't see on YouTube. There's photos on there that you don't see on YouTube. There's stories on there that, of course, you don't see on YouTube. And the travel tips section, if any of you have any questions, feel free to upload any questions you have to the Nippon Pulse website. And if you don't want to leave your email address on it, you don't have to. It's just I can't take that off the form. So just like type in your name and your question, and that's it. Victoria, the bankrupt state. Victoria's been bankrupt for decades. That's why Kenneth sold everything. nipponpulse.org. Okay, what stories are on my nipponpulse.org website? Because I forgot. Why is my website going so slow? My internet going so slow? So if you haven't checked it out yet, the blogs on there at the moment are Exploring Japan by Ferry. Everybody should be catching a ferry in Japan. I don't care if you do 1 night, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Every extraordinary. And remember, don't say, oh yeah, but it's going to cost this much. You're not paying for accommodation. So whatever you pay for accommodation, you're paying for the ferry. So it's frigging mind-blowing. I mean, like going past the nuclear reactor in Fukushima on the ferry, it's just extraordinary seeing the mountains covered in the snow as you sail past Hokkaido. Being in the piano bar with a drink from the bar, listening to the pianist playing a thing, or the live show, or the concert, or the arcades in there that you can play, or the shopping because there's shops on there, or the restaurants. The list goes on and on and on. You really do need to check out the Japanese ferry system, and you can read all about them on nipponpulse.org. The Gundam base, that's the big robot-y doovy thing. Have a read of that. There's a story in there about My Back to the Future Part 4. I've put it in written form for you there, so there's a little story there about that one. Check it out. That's a whole lot of fun. Jings in Akihabara, that's where I get my glasses from. They cost absolutely nothing. Cheapest prescription glasses on the planet. You pay about $20 for prescription glasses. $20, $30. There's Tokyo Tram, which again, most people go to Tokyo. They never ride the tram. Never. We look at capsule motels, all the different sizes and shapes, which will quite amaze you. Akihabara, 14 cities in 14 days. Mount Fuji and the Shinkansen. Just like all Nippon Airlines, yeah, it's part of the JR Pass. Yes. Exactly, Sam. All right. Anyone want to say anything? I don't think I have anything else to show you. No, nothing. That's my USB-C cable from nothing. I have so many USB cables I don't even use theirs. What else have I got? Nothing. No. But I have been getting really bored here that I can't do much with my aneurysm. As you might be able to see over here, I painted my coffee table black the other day just because everything else in here is black. And I put a LED light underneath. See that glow? I put an LED light underneath the coffee table, which I think is pretty good. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, nobody else talking. Last chance, final drinks. If you want to say anything, say it now, because I'm just rattling on. Do share around the nipponpulse.org website as well. If the views get up, we might have some giveaways in the future. If the views don't get up, I will close the website down. It's as simple as that. Oh, the USB's got nothing written on there. You can buy a Lego set. Sam, I don't actually have any money at the moment with me not being able to work much or that at the moment, so finances are a little bit tight. I would have liked to. There's some big Lego sets I really, really always wanted, like the Eiffel Tower. Oh my God, I want the Eiffel Tower. And the Titanic, but unfortunately, funds at the moment are kind of crap. That's why I painted my coffee table. Because it cost me $6 in paint rather than buying a coffee table. Yes. It's not the most financial year with this aneurysm thing happening. Do check out the Nothing phone on JB Hi-Fi, the blue one. Oh my God, it looks so good. I wish that would have been in stock. Anyway, I will go and have my dinner, I guess. Thank you for joining us, if you did. If you have any questions about the aneurysm or Japan or anything, leave them in the comment box below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. If you did like the chat that we had, or if you like the website, why not drop $1 or $2 at the PayPal account? The website's costing me money. That's why if nobody goes to it, I'm not going to continue with it, because it's costing me a fair bit of money. So if you do like the website, why not drop a couple of bucks at the PayPal? Because when I started it, I didn't realize I was going to have an aneurysm. So the funds were okay, but now the funds are kind of stuffed. So if you do like it, do check out the PayPal. You're not obliged to, but free to drop a couple of bucks at the PayPal. It really helps in this period of my life. I will keep you up to date and informed about the aneurysm and the progress of that. If you don't hear from me, you know it's compang. But apart from that, thanks for joining us tonight, wherever you are in this big, wide, wonderful world. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and we may or may not see you again soon on the Nippon Pulse website and YouTube channel. And I don't even have Nippon Pulse on the end graphic. I've only got this.
Traveling